Section 1 of The Rise and Fall of the Confederate Government, Volume 2. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Rise and Fall of the Confederate Government, Volume 2, by Jefferson Davis, Part 4, Chapter 15. Review of 1861. Summary of hostile acts of United States government. Fuller details of some of them. Third session of Provisional Congress. Message. Subjugation of the Southern States intended. Obstinacy of the enemy. Insensibility of the North as to the crisis. Vast preparation of the enemy. Embargo and blockade. Indiscriminate war waged. Action of Confederate Congress. Confiscation Act of United States Congress. Declared object of the war. Powers of United States government. Forfeitures inflicted. Due process of law. How interpreted. Who pleads the Constitution? Wanton destruction of private property unlawful. Adams on terms of the Treaty of Ghent. Sectional hatred. Order of President Lincoln to army officers in regard to slaves. Educating the people. Fremont's proclamation. Proclamation of General T.W. Sherman. Proclamation of General Halleck and others. Letters of marque. Our privateers. Officers tried for piracy. Retaliatory orders. Discussion in the British House of Lords. Recognition as a belligerent of the Confederacy. Exchange of prisoners. Theory of the United States. Views of McClellan. Revolutionary conduct of United States government. Extent of the war at the close of 1861. Victories of the year. New branches of manufactures. Election of Confederate States President. Posterity may ask the cause of such hostile actions. Answer. The inauguration of the permanent government, amid the struggles of war, was welcomed by our people as a sign of the independence for which all their sacrifices had been made, and the increased efforts of the enemy for our subjugation were met by corresponding determination on our part to maintain the rights our fathers left us at whatever cost. We now enter upon those terrible scenes of wrong and blood in which the government of the United States, driven to desperation by our successful resistance, broke through every restraint of the Constitution, of national law, of justice, and of humanity. But before commencing this fearful narration, let us sum up the hostile acts and usurpations committed during the first year. Our people had been declared to be combinations of insurrectionists, and more than 150,000 men had been called to arms to invade our territory. Our ports were blockaded for the destruction of our regular commerce, and we had been threatened with denunciation as pirates if we molested a vessel of the United States, and some of our citizens had been confined in cells to await the punishment of piracy. One of our states was rent asunder and a new state constructed out of the fragment. Every proposition for a peaceful solution of pending issues had been spurned. An indiscriminate warfare had been waged upon our peaceful citizens, their dwellings burned and their crops destroyed. A law had been passed imposing a penalty of forfeiture on the owner of any faithful slave who gave military or naval service to the Confederacy, and forbidding military commanders to interfere for the restoration of fugitives. The United States government had refused to agree to an exchange of prisoners, and suffered those we had captured to languish in captivity. It had falsely represented us in every court of Europe to defeat our efforts to obtain a recognition from foreign powers. It had seized a portion of the members of the legislature of one state and confined them in a distant military prison, because they were thought merely to sympathize with us, though they had not committed an overt act. It had refused all the propositions of another state for peaceful neutrality, invaded her, and seized important positions, where not even a disturbance of the peace had occurred, and perpetrated the most despotic outrages on her people. It rejected the most conciliatory terms offered for the sake of peace by the governor of another state, claimed for itself an unrestricted right to move and station its troops whenever and wherever its officers might think it to be desirable, and persisted in its aggressions until the people were involved in conflicts, and a provisional government became necessary for their protection. Within the Northern states, which
Sample complete. Ready to continue?